whom alone the kings reign and princes decree justice, and from whom alone cometh all counsel, wisdom, and understanding. We, thine unworthy servants, here gathered together in thy name, do most humbly beseech thee to send down thine heavenly wisdom from above to direct and guide us in all our consultations. And grant that we, having thy fear always before our eyes, and laying aside all private interests, prejudices, and partial affections, the result of all our counsel may be to the glory of thy blessed name, the maintenance of true religion and justice, the safety, honor, and happiness of the king, the public weal, peace, and tranquility of the island, and the uniting and knitting together of the hearts of all persons and estates within the same, in true Christian love and charity, one towards another, through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
You may be seated. Good afternoon, everyone. This honorable house now resumes its sitting. It is indeed a great honor and pleasure to welcome you all to this sitting of the Honorable House of Representatives on Wednesday, November 29, 2023, for the continuation of the State of the Constituency Debate. I would like to extend a special welcome to those who are joining us online via the various social media platforms, PBCJ live stream, and those who are in the gallery. Call of the roll.
Mr. Clark? Here. Mr. Bartlett? Mr. Holness? Dr. Clark? Dr. Chang? Ms. Grange? Mr. McKenzie? Thank you. Mr. McKenzie? Mr. Chuck? Dr. Tufton? Mrs. Williams? Mr. Vaz? Mrs. Malou Fort? Mr. Charles? Mr. Green? Mr. Morgan? Mr. Warmington? Yes. Mr. Main? Mrs. Cuthbert Flynn? Mr. Terry Long? Dr. Dunn? Mr. Hutchinson? Mr. Witter? Ms. Smith? Mr. Davis? Mr. Brown? Dr. Brown Burke? Dr. Charles? Mr. Chin? Mr. Cousins? Ms. Crawford? Ms. Daly? Ms. Davis? Mr. Golding? Mr. Graham? Dr. Guy? Ms. Hamilton? Ms. Hannah? Mr. Enriquez? Mr. Henry? Mr. Hilton? Mr. Jackson? Mr. Lawrence? Ms. Lee? Mr. Miller? Mr. Montague? Ms. Morrison? Mrs. Nita Garvey? Mr. Paulwell? Mr. Phillips? Mr. Robertson? Dr. Phillips? Mr. Robinson? Mr. Samuda? Mr. Shaw? Mr. Siblist? Mr. Slowly? Mrs. Vaz? Dr. Wheatley? Mr. Williams? Mr. Wilson? Mr. Wright, Mr. Lawrence, Ms. Grange,
Statement by ministers, announcements, bills brought from the Senate, petitions, papers, reports from committees, notices of motions given orally, questions and answers to questions, motions that may be made at the commencement of public business requiring notice, motions relating to the sitting of the House, motions for leave to introduce bills, presentation of bills without leave of the House first obtained, public business, House Leader, public business.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the State of Constituency debate will continue today with only one presentation. And that presentation is a contribution from Mr. George Wright, Member of Parliament, Westmoreland Central. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, House Leader. Mr. Wright, since you will be speaking from a seat other than your own, would you be so kind as to come a little closer? Right there is perfectly good, Mr.
Madam
Wright.
Speaker,
Hold on, Member Wright. Let me introduce you properly and add my voice to that of the House Leader. Members, let us welcome to his feet Mr. George Wright, Member of Parliament for Westmoreland Central, who will now make his contribution to the State of Constituency debate. Newlywed? Really?
Madam Speaker.
Oh, sorry, Member, right? I'm informed that you're recently married.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Madam.
And let me put on record, I hope you'll be an excellent husband. However, Member Wright, you still need to make a request to speak from a seat other than your own, following the standing orders.
Madam Speaker, permit me to speak from a seat that is not my own.
Yes, Member Wright.
Madam Speaker, they often say the third time is a charm. And today, Madam Speaker, today I rise for the third time to address this noble House as a living testimony of the resilience and determination of the people of Westmoreland Central. Madam Speaker, in rising, I acknowledge and invite the Lord's presence in our midst. 2023 has been a year of fulfillment and accomplishment, and I know it is the mighty hand of God, His grace and His mercy carrying me through. Madam Speaker, I begin my presentation here today. I would like to take this opportunity to once again offer my sincere, heartfelt condolences to the family members and friends of 15-year-old Zakeel McIntyre and 16-year-old Johnny Robinson, who tragically lost their lives in a motor vehicle collision on November 21, 2023. Also, the family of Ladacia Forrester, another 15-year-old student who died a week earlier in a motor vehicle accident. Sincere condolences to the Petersfield High School community who were plunged into mourning at the passing of these promising individuals, whose school record proved that they didn't have any disciplinary issues except uniform violation. I pray and will continue to pray for God's comforting arm around their loved ones in this grieving time. Madam Speaker, allow me this opportunity to make an impassioned plea to young motorists across Jamaica, especially across the 3 constituencies of Westmoreland, from Negril, Little London, Savlamar, Petersfield, Withorn, Darliston to White House, to deter them from what is now the new social norm of reckless riding, speeding, and stunting. I further appeal to the parents of these young men to be vigilant in speaking against this unlawful and playful action. This may save and change lives. This is how we as a society can see our children grow up to be productive and accomplished adults. Madam Speaker, speaking of accomplishments, a special quota of thanks to the constituents of Westmoreland Central, the people I represent and will continue to represent. Heartfelt gratitude to my management team, my staff members, and my immediate family for their hard work, never-ending support. Thanks also to the councillors and councillor caretaker with whom I have forged a solid partnership and mutual beneficial working relationship to work hard, hand in hand for the best interests of the people of Westmoreland Central. Madam Speaker, for the first time, I openly acknowledge my friend, my confidant, and my long life partner, my wife, Ms. Lanita Singh, whose unwavering love and commitment is my source of strength. Madam Speaker, as we look to the future with hope, determination, and enthusiasm, we pause to reflect on the year behind us, a year in review. Madam Speaker, since the beginning of 2023, I have taken on several development projects across my constituency. The Constituency Development Funds, CDF, was well spent and has benefited well over 2,000 residents, and that, Madam Speaker, is a significant amount of persons in the constituency. Madam Speaker, at a steady pace, the road in Westmoreland Central continues to improve. Work has been done in several areas to include Shrewsbury Logwood, Bird Mountain, Withorn to Darliston, Cornwall Mountain, Strawberry to Content Main Road, the Bullet Tree Road, amongst many others. And many others to come, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, for this I want to thank the government and anticipate additional projects to build back stronger roads network in Westmoreland Central. Madam Speaker, for the first time in Westmoreland, under the stewardship and partnership with the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, a state-of-the-art mini sport ground was completed in Cook Street 3 weeks ago. Madam Speaker, we are further looking to add light to accommodate night sports, which we believe will engage more youths and bring calm and purpose to the community. Madam Speaker, I would like to express thanks to TPDCO for providing the resource to build proper sanitary convenience and a work shed at the St. Mary's Beach for the fisher folks in Savlamar. Work will commence soon, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the town of Savlamar is growing. We have seen jobs being created and robust business activities. With all the changes happening around, the Savlamar market is still in a deplorable condition and remain an eyesore. Madam Speaker, through you, I ask the Honorable Minister of Local Government, the Minister Desmond McKenzie, to urgently revisit the market, especially with the Christmas season fast approaching. Money was allocated to do rehabilitation, but it has been at a slow pace. And Minister, I must confess that we need a new market. Madam Speaker, I continue to invest in the nation's future by ensuring more than $13 million in grants, scholarship, and back-to-school vouchers. This year, we added a new element by hosting a back-to-school health fair to the tune of $1 million. Madam Speaker, special commendation to Dr. Daniel Dawes, JP, Chief Executive Officer at the Universal Service Fund, and his team, who on Friday, December 1, 2023, will be launching Westmoreland Central 5th free Wi-Fi in the hotspot in the Shrewsbury Logwood area. Madam Speaker, this is prosperity for all. Madam Speaker, we continue to train, certify, and employ more young people in the constituency through the Technology Advancement Program, TAP, implemented by USF. Madam Speaker, the Minister in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Minister Darrell Vaz, visited the constituency just in September and gave the assurance to the residents of Cook Street, Farm Pen, Landilo Phase 5, Grotto, as well as Gully Bank, that they will be the beneficiaries of new utility poles and power lines, professional house wiring, new street lights, and regularized electricity through the Rural Electrification Program. I am happy to report, Madam Speaker, that work has started and will be completed in the early 2024. Madam Speaker, residents continue to reap the benefit of this administration through the new social housing program, HOPE, which continue to literally lay the foundation and offer more housing solutions. Westmoreland Central now has 3 newly completed housing units and others to be completed. Madam Speaker, last month, the 25th of October, to be exact, the Honorable Prime Minister Andrew Michael Holness was in my constituency handing over keys to new NHT home owners and pledged, Madam Speaker, over 5,000 more houses for the housing solution will be built for the people of Westmoreland. Madam Speaker, this is a caring, This is a government that cares for the people of Westmoreland. Madam Speaker, the people of Westmoreland Central continue to benefit significantly as we continue to invest in the boost entrepreneurship of small and medium-sized business. Since the start of this year, I have issued agricultural supplies such as fertilizers, chicken, feeds, seedlings, fish pot wires, and black tanks. And Madam Speaker, the government promised more benefit for the people of Westmoreland Central for this Christmas, where individuals will receive fertilizers, feeds, chicken, goats, pigs, and black tanks. The people will be grateful for this initiative. Madam Speaker, this is the time and a call for action. In the constituency of Westmoreland Central, in the division of Petersfield, which I served as councillor for 4 years, stands the Petersfield High School. I reported in my last sectoral presentation, and I am going to emphasize and call on my good minister, the Honorable Ms. Fayetteville Williams, to intervene, as this is the only high school in Westmoreland that is still on the shift system. It was built in the 1970s to accommodate 500 students. Today, there are more than 1,600 enrolled. Madam Speaker, that's more than 3 times the intended student capacity. Madam Speaker, since the construction, there has been no major addition to the school, which has forced administration to remain on the shift system. Madam Speaker, there's an urgent need for 22 more classrooms to be built to host these students and get the institution off the shift system. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I invite the Honorable Minister of Education and Youth, the Honorable Fayetteville Williams, and her technical team to visit the Petersfield High School and take a look at the serious issues facing the school. Issues such as system overloaded and the outdated electricity grid, among others. Madam Speaker, I appeal to the Minister of Tourism to look into the possible potential for ecotourism in the Petersfield Division, which within the Westmoreland Central constituency. It is the home of a vibrant tourism attraction that includes world-renowned attractions such as Benta Falls, Mayfields Falls, Rasta Safari, Yasso Adventure Park, Roaring River Park, among others. Madam Speaker, I would like to make mention of the communities of Porter's Mountain, Bird Mountain, and Welcome, which are without potable water in 2023, despite these communities sitting on top of the watershed that supplies the entire Westmoreland. Additionally, Madam Speaker, the residents of Roaring River, whose water supply now serves over 30 communities, does not enjoy the benefit of having potable water. This cannot continue, and I urge Honorable Minister Matu Samuda to take an interest in this matter. Madam Speaker, it would be remiss of me not to speak on this burning issue affecting the residents of the Shrewsbury and Landale housing scheme. Madam Speaker, the roads are in great need of rehabilitation. The Honorable Prime Minister, Andrew Michael Holness, has pledged over $120 million to fix these roads over 5 years ago. I have several conversations with the management of the NHT on this issue. And based on my assessment, I feel that they are buying time and not moving. Madam Speaker, the people are angry and restless, and they are planning to block the road. Madam Speaker, these people, they are hard-working Jamaicans. The people deserve better. Today, to go on the scheme road is almost impossible. Taxi refused to venture beyond the scheme gate. I am asking the Honorable Prime Minister of Jamaica, and the Honorable Andrew Michael Holness to intervene with urgency to resolve the cry of the people, so they will once again feel a sense of dignity and pride going to work and coming home. Madam Speaker, these are working class people from all walks of life: doctors, teachers, police, nurses, hotel workers, market vendors, soldiers, just to name a few. And Madam Speaker, the worst part of it is that the Member of Parliament is living on the Petersfield housing scheme.
Member, once you turn around and your mouth is no longer in the mic, you are neither heard by Hansard or by anyone in the media. It is something that I have observed where members turn away from the mic to speak to the speaker. And I would therefore recommend that you utilize the mic that allows you to turn to the speaker, because you are usually addressing the speaker, which would always facilitate your voice being heard. Thank you, members.
Thank you very much,
It is a learning for us, and just some observations sitting in the chair, realizing from time to time, literally the person who is speaking, you are no longer heard at all. And the media in particular depend on hearing you in the House. You may proceed, Member Wright.
Madam Speaker, based on the government multi-billion dollars project for road rehabilitation come 2024, Westmoreland will see the highest investment in the history of Jamaica. The Prime Minister of our country is seeking to build back Jamaica stronger, and I too echo the sentiments as Westmoreland Central is in the winning and prosperous column. Thank you, and God bless you all.
House Leader.
Madam Speaker, I think it's great that members have turned out, although it was one speaker today. I'm very, very impressed about your commitment to Parliament. The members who turned out today. And to say that the presentation by Member of Parliament, George Wright, was quite short and well delivered, and I also want to commend him. So, Madam Speaker, I now ask that the debate be suspended, and that suspended until next week, when we will have presentations from Minister Green, and Minister Dunn will close the debate. In fact, the speakers next week will be Honorable Floyd Green, Deputy Speaker Hero Clark, and the debate will be closed by Dr. Honorable Norman Dunn. So, Madam Speaker, at this point, I ask for the debate to be suspended.
House, the question is that the state of constituency debate be suspended. Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it.
Madam Speaker, I now ask for the recommittal of announcement, notices of motions given orally, as well as reports from committees. Thank you, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I'm asking for the recommittal.
Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
So, Madam Speaker, the report, we're going to announcements now. Yeah.
Announcements. Those in favor, let me just make sure. Those in favor, those against, the ayes have it. Announcements.
Laid on the table of the House today are copies of the report of the Ethics Committee of the House of Representatives on its deliberations on the motion for exemption brought on behalf of the Member of Parliament for Kingston Eastern and Port Royal.
Just one very quick statement or paragraph. I want to acknowledge that there are some civil servants and media practitioners who have reached out since the laying of the Integrity Commission report yesterday. I do understand the concerns that some of them have put, and I believe that the lawmakers' intent was the protection of civil servants and indeed all persons in respect of their reputation. However, the ruling and the tabling of the report, as indicated before, is in keeping with the laws. Notwithstanding that there are concerns, civil servants are recommended to formally participate in the governance process by writing to the chairman of the Joint Select Committee reviewing the Integrity Commission Act and raise your concerns formally there. As Speaker, I would not be able to respond to you. You may go through your various staff organizations or your unions and do that submission. My final advice to all civil servants, I believe previously over 50,000, under the new arrangements, approximately 10,000, to check with the Integrity Commission website, to talk to your staff associations, talk to your unions, if needs be, check with the Integrity Commission, and to have your declarations filed promptly. The declarations for December 31st are due for filing between January of the new year and March 31st. You must file by the 31st of March in the following year. So that's my advice to civil servants who are concerned about the process and their names being referred to the House in respect of documents tabled. Thank you, members. Reports from committees.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on the table of the House a copy of the report of the Ethics Committee of the House of Representatives on its deliberations on the motion for exemption brought on behalf of the Member of Parliament for Kingston East and Port Royal.
Notices of motions given orally.
Madam Speaker, I beg to give notice that at the next meeting of the House, I will move. Be it resolved that the report of the Ethics Committee of the House of Representatives on its deliberations on the motion for exemption brought on behalf of the Member of Parliament for Kingston East and Port Royal, which was laid on the table of the House on the 29th day of November 2023, be adopted. Madam Speaker, I further beg to give notice that at a later stage today, I will move for the suspension of the standing orders to enable me to take this motion.
Thank you. At public business. Public business.
Madam Speaker, I now move for the suspension of the standing orders to enable me to take the motion, notice of which I gave earlier.
Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. I do not see anyone indicating that they would like to have a debate on this motion. Member Davis, would you be so kind?
Madam Speaker, I ask that the motion be approved.
Members, the report from committee has been circulated for your attention with greater detail, and therefore I now ask that the motion be approved. Those in favor of the motion being approved? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. Thank you, members. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, it's not contemplated for us to do any further business today. I therefore ask that the House adjourns until Tuesday, December 5th at 2 p.m. We will continue the state of constituency debate at that time. And as I said earlier, the speakers will be the Honorable Floyd Green, Member of Parliament, St. Elizabeth Southwest, Heward Clark, Member of Parliament, Heward Clark, Deputy Speaker, and Member of Parliament for Central St. James. And the debate will be closed by Dr. Honorable Norman Alexander Nunn, Member of Parliament for St. Mary Southeast. Madam Speaker, may it please you? We ask that we adjourn at this time.
Members, Member Warmington, excuse me.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. No further business. Ask for the adjournment.
The question is that the House now do adjourn for Tuesday, December 5th, 2023 at 2 p.m. sharp, and before the adjournment, let me now advise Member Terrelong, if you are not in your seat, you will not be marked present. That is in keeping with the standing orders. The member must take your assigned seat. I hope we will all read the standing orders. So members, I believe it is so important for us to understand the standing orders. So even though I'm adjourning, I did not realize there were other members who took seats that were not their own. I only realized that one member slipped in a little late, and so I was advising that member. So the standing orders require that a member who comes into the House in order, no, not just late, in order to be marked present for the sitting, must sit in their assigned seat. If you do not sit in your assigned seat, you are not present at Parliament on the day in question. The standing order also dictates that if you were marked present and subsequently there is a vote being taken and you are not in the House, you are marked absent for the sitting. So members, as I continue to ensure that I am comfortable with the standing orders, I want to ensure you are also very comfortable with them. He made a slip in just in time. He slipped in just in time, but then I noticed him, Member Warmington, and having noticed him, I made sure, because it didn't appear he was sitting in his seat, I noticed. I paused and notified him that where he was sitting would not qualify him for this sitting to be marked present. So members, very important. I know that you are going to see me raising a particular concern because there is, in fact, one member that has been absent for 80% of the sitting of the House. 80%. Approximately 80%, with and without excuse. And having been written to outside of the required time for attendance. So if you have missed 6 consecutive sittings within a period of 21 days, the standing orders require that you must give the Speaker a valid reason for your absence within 15 days. However, in the Speaker exercising leniency, a member who is absent more than 70% of the time without giving any excuse to the Speaker makes it a challenge for the Speaker to be lenient. Now, just in case anyone wonders, it is not a member from the government side. And that is why I am ensuring that I am extremely lenient. However, this stands now as warning. Anyone who runs afoul of the standing orders in respect of attendance, whether it be from the opposition or government side, will be held firmly liable in keeping with the standing orders, and there will be no leniency afforded to that member. So members, we look forward on adjournment to see you next Tuesday at 2 p.m. sharp. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it. Members outside of Parliament's regular schedule tomorrow, and it would be wonderful to confirm via email, the Parliament will be housing a town hall in respect of our job descriptions. Based on the week we have had, we have advertised. If members are not of the view they can attend, please let us know quickly so that we may be able to reschedule to next Tuesday after Parliament at about 6 p.m. Please take the opportunity to advise the Parliament so that we can proceed accordingly in keeping with what members are able to do at this time. Thank you very much, members. The House now stands adjourned.
You'll always remember that day you became a parent. That day, you made yourself a promise to provide for them, to protect them, laugh with them, watch them learn, and let them grow. That day, you realized your biggest challenge lies in bringing them up in a world full of choices. That day, you knew they would grow up fast, and the innocence you cherish wouldn't last. That day, you made up your mind that no matter how things change, you would always take the time to give them parental guidance. That day is today.
Remember, parental controls are available for all devices. A reminder from the Broadcasting Commission.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Protect yourself from the bite of this mosquito.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Hospital visits are anticipated to increase up to the end of this year and into the first few months of next year as we see more cases of dengue, flu, and other illnesses. As a result, emergency departments may be overcrowded with longer waiting times. We have therefore extended opening hours at select health centers island-wide. Persons with mild illnesses and chronic diseases, including diabetes and hypertension, should visit with their health center. Let us work together to protect others against dengue and other illnesses.
This is what you've been waiting for. A chance to change your point of view and take the break you deserve at Jamaica's resorts and attractions. When you can open your door to the seaside instead of just outside. Where you can change your mask and take a plunge.
Sunshine smiling warm up inside your heart. Feeling of pure love. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat. Dancing to the beat up inside your heart. Whoa. Heartbeat of the world. Oh, Jamaican heartbeat.
Contact your travel agent today to book your staycation. RediscoverJamaica.com.
What if they knew that you abused her? Her family?
Mr. Jones.
And your colleagues, how will they look at an abuser? When the law comes knocking, you'll have nowhere to run.
Mr. Brown, you're under arrest. Please get up, hands behind your head and interlock your fingers.
Turn your back on abusers. Report gender-based violence to the police. There's no excuse for abuse. Call the Bureau of Gender Affairs at 876-754-8577.
Once you replace negative thoughts with positive ones, you'll start having positive results. Educate yourself.
I'm looking for a successful career in being a software developer, a software engineer, and I want to create softwares or apps for myself. So I want to gather a team with my colleagues to execute the visions that I have or even visions that they have as well.
Do not use your cell phone while driving, please. That call or text can wait. Do you really have to stream that video while driving? It's not worth your life, nor that of other road users. Stay alert, stay off your phone, and arrive alive.
Setting things right, this Honorable House passed legislation against sexual harassment. My intention is to set Monday, July 3 as the commencement date of the Sexual Harassment Act.
For years, there have been complaints about sexual harassment, and we did not have a legislation to address this, and so persons were suffering in silence.
Know that the act is here. It says if you harass someone, you will pay.
The law comes into force on July 3, meaning everybody is required now to take it seriously.
Everyone should know that there is a process. You have been harassed, you go to HR.
Give them all the information that is possible, when it happened, where it happened, all the details if there's anybody who was a witness.
HR has 2 days in which to inform the person that there's been a complaint against them. They have 14 days in which to do an investigation. And if nothing is done, the person can now take their complaint to the tribunal.
If the case is brought before the tribunal and the person is found guilty, the penalty for that is up to $1 million Jamaican dollars or imprisonment.
The tribunal is housed within the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport. Persons can know that if they have a complaint, they can go to the tribunal. It will be taken seriously and it will be confidential.
Now that you're speaking out, do more. Do more. Help fight crime. Do the right thing and report what you know. Do the right thing and publicly demand change. Hold government accountable for better governance. Protect your environment and health. Do the right thing and keep your community clean. If we all do the right thing and build integrity, Jamaica will be the place to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Since the start of the year, I'm pleased to announce that we have seen a 14% reduction in road fatalities and an 8% reduction in fatal crashes. It's too early to celebrate, obviously, but we acknowledge that there is a reduction. It's not a marginal reduction. 14% is a significant reduction. We are 110 days already in the year, but we have seen over 120 deaths. So it's a significant number of lives lost, but we have saved lives, obviously. It is clear that certainly the actions that we took last year and this year with the new implementation of the new Road Traffic Act and other initiatives, including greater enforcement, the Jamaican public is more conscious of using the roadway safely. So the consciousness may have come from an increase in enforcement, but what we really want is a change in behavior. That will take time, we acknowledge. And like all other human endeavors, you can encourage people for them to aspire to do better, but sometimes enforcement is also necessary so that people see the penalties and the disadvantage in breaking the rules.
We are in a race against time, to reverse the effects of climate change by one simple action which has positive and enduring effects. That's right, plant a tree, leave a lasting legacy. Join the My Tree Legacy promotion by planting a tree at your alma mater and share your work with us. Every tree counts. Plant a tree today and keep climate change away.
Time I have to say that one, yeah? Dopey know who fi frighten. And you know what I mean by that? You see, bullies in particular, them know who to pick on, but them can't pick on me. Cause dopey know who fi frighten.
Shelby, I want to you. I make it look like you have the whole world on your shoulders, Massa.
Ashley, I'm tired. Every day the same thing, and I can't take this no more.
What happened now?
No, my boss, man. Every day I have me assign some documents I'm not supposed to assign for with some big money. And when I say, sir, I'm not supposed to assign for them here, I'm going to say, you want a job or what?
But see, report him. You hear what I say, girl? Report him to your designated officer or the Complaints and Protected Disclosures Unit at the Integrity Commission. And guess what? Don't worry yourself. The information that you give will be kept confidential.
You sure?
Girl, me positive. Under the Protected Disclosures Act, you can make a report as an employee, and once it is made in good faith, then your boss really and truly can't do nothing about it. And if you don't want to call, you can make an anonymous complaint under the Integrity Commission Act of 2017 by simply downloading and sending in a report in preparatory form from the Commission's website. Just create one email address with no identity attached, so if they have follow-up questions, they can contact you. But sis, make sure that the report you bring is true and you don't have no bad intentions.
Okay, me I go do it.
If you or someone you know has experienced or observed matters involving corruption, improper conduct, or impropriety within the workplace, you're being encouraged to file a report with the Integrity Commission by calling their anti-corruption hotline at 876-926-0001 or emailing cpd@integrity.gov.jm. The Integrity Commission, united against corruption.